Please turn off your cell phones, pagers, any kind of device that makes any noise. We had students here earlier, and I chastised them about texting, so I won't do that to all of you. But all right, if everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It is our tradition to have a moment of silence before each meeting, and I would like to reflect at this particular moment of silence on the gun violence at our nearby Youngstown State University, and offer our condolences to the families of the victims and to the students that were injured in that incident. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Ms. Conley?
Yes, present.
Mr. Rogers? Ms. Simon? Mr. Greenspan?
Present.
Mr. Miller?
Present.
Present.
Mr. Germana?
Here.
Mr. Gallagher?
Here.
Mr. Schron?
Here.
Ms. Conwell? Here. Mr. Jones?
Here.
There is a quorum.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is our opportunity for public comment. Has anyone signed in? The public comment for at this point is for any item that is on the agenda.
Good.
Right. With
Madam Chair, no one has signed in to speak.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone that wishes to have a public comment? All right, thank you. We have minutes from the meeting of January 5th. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So move.
Moved by Mr. Schron and seconded by Mr. Rogers. We call the roll, please. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Any corrections or additions? All right, we call the roll.
Approving the minutes, Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers? Yes. Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We are now have an opportunity to have a message from our county executive.
Thank you, President Connolly. I'll be brief, just a few items for your consideration. First, I was joined actually earlier today by, I believe, by Councilwoman Conwell at the Museum of Contemporary Art grand opening, and it was just a reminder. Is actually the third groundbreaking that we've just in the first 38 days of this new form of government that we've been able to participate in, the first being the Medical Mart, then the casino the other day, where I saw many of you also, and then this very exciting groundbreaking at the new Museum of Contemporary Art, which is really kind of a flagship of the whole Uptown development, and it's going to be a huge, I think, signature project. I think that's going to bring that whole area and the entire county another step forward. So there are good things that are happening there. There are hundreds of people there, and just the optimism there was very nice to see. It was a great event. We are continuing to round out our staff, and we're almost there. As I know Council is aware, and you'll be getting a formal declaration or notification in the next day or so that my choice for law director is Greg Clifford, and I just want to reiterate for those of you that may not be familiar with him, he's had a distinguished career. He's an experienced attorney and jurist. He's provided excellent service to the greater Cleveland area, and also provided advice and counsel to Cleveland Municipal Court. And we're looking forward to having him here shortly. Also, besides those that we're bringing on staff, we're also starting to integrate members of the private sector who have loaned their talents to the new county government. So our first set of about a half a dozen individuals from the corporate community, our first set of loaned executives are starting their work, and we anticipate others to come. The first set are mostly focused on the financial aspects and some of the consolidation and some of the IT functions that we're looking to overhaul in the county system. And that concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank you. We have two motions for adoption this evening for immediate passage. Mr. Miller.
Madam President, I move that Rule 7E requiring that motions of council be read at 2 different county council meetings, and Rule 9D requiring ordinances and resolutions to be read at 3 different county council meetings, and Rule 13A requiring reference to committee be dispensed with, and that motions number 2011-0005 and motion number 2011-0006 be placed on final passage at tonight's meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for suspension of the rule. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon? Yes. Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones? Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you like to read our first motion for us, 8A?
Motion number 2011-0005, a motion confirming the county executive's appointment of Robert Reed upon his taking the oath of office as the sheriff of Cuyahoga County.
Sheriff Reed is present with us this evening. This is his wife with him, Mrs. Reed. And would you like to come up and address the council before we take a vote?
Thank you, Madam President and Council. Although I was here for 3 hours, I actually enjoyed it. I really look forward to really this historic moment. I look forward to working with the new county executive and all of council in some of the initiatives that we have that we've actually outlined during my interview. I look forward to working with all of the new staff that we have, and I'm really excited about some of the new programs that we're going to be looking at and getting involved in the months and hopefully in the years to come. So I look forward to the partnership that I hope that we enjoy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any discussion from council or any further comment? Mr. Schrein?
No, I just move we adopt the resolution as, or the ordinance as put forth, the reading. Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, can you call the roll?
Approving the motion, Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers? Yes. Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Congratulations, Mr. Sheriff.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm very honored. Thank you.
All right, item 8B.
Motion number 2011-0006, a motion designating nonprofit and educational organizations that are engaged in the promotion of economic development of the county, who shall collectively select one member to the Economic Development Commission, 1, University Hospitals Case Medical Center, 2, Manufacturing Advocacy and Growth Network, also known as Magnet, 3, the George Gunda Foundation, 4, Cleveland State University, and 5, the President's Council.
So move. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Madam President. I think that what this is, again, it's another step in adopting those procedures set forth by the charter that says let's bring in another level of community involvement into the economic development plan. This group of 5 will be representing only for purposes of a very short timeline. This is one of those kind of things that if you ever want to volunteer for a committee, volunteer for one that only takes about an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours of its total organization, because their function will be to put forth a name for that 8th position. They'll be serving on the Economic Development Commission, which will write the business plan for the council. For the commission, and they'll come before the council. These groups were selected, if you look down through, not that they're are the only ones that could have been represented, but if you look down through the group, they represent the medical community, they represent somebody from the manufacturing community, somebody from one of the foundation community, somebody from one of the educational organizations, and then somebody to bring in a diverse point of view. So all those groups have offered and volunteered individuals that will be sitting on this committee. They will be Dr. Fred Rothstein, the president of the University Case Medical School, Dan Barry, the head of Magnet, David Abbott, who also not only heads up the Gun Foundation, but the Fund for Economic Future, Dr. Robert Scheer, who is the dean of the business school at Cleveland State University, and Dwayne Thornton, who is the president of the President's Council, LLC. So with that, I think that we have a nice representation of all the business community from the medical side. We have from the foundation side, the nonprofit, the educational, and from that, they will be holding a meeting sometime. We hope as soon as we can get those individuals together within the next week or a week and a half, something of that nature.
Madam President?
Yes.
Madam President, to my colleagues, I would like to commend Councilman Schron and the committee for their excellent work on this. The charter provision says that educational and nonprofit organizations that are engaged in furthering economic development shall collectively choose this 8th member, and it's difficult for a group of organizations to collectively do anything quickly, and I think that the committee wisely chose to have a group that is small but very representative to do this function, and in so doing, I think we'll be able to get this 8th member appointed relatively quickly and be on our way. Thank you.
I'd like to just congratulate Mr. Schrein. He's been working quite diligently. Is there any other discussion on this? Can you call the roll?
Approving the motion, Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady? Yes. Mr. Germana? Yes. Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. We've had a small glitch here. I understand that the sheriff wants to be sworn in right now. Is that right? Come on up. Did we take the paperwork away? Or? You just happen to have a copy. Always prepared. And Mrs. Reed, do you want to come up with him?
Do you want to renew your vows too?
Already did that. No, it just starts. Thanks.
Sorry. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me.
I, Bob Reed,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and uphold
that I will support and uphold
the Constitution of the United States,
Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter of Cuyahoga County.
and the Charter of Cuyahoga County.
I will administer justice
I will administer justice
without respect to persons
without respect to persons,
and will faithfully and impartially
and will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all of the duties incumbent upon me
all of the duties incumbent upon me
as Sheriff of the County of Cuyahoga,
as Sheriff of the County of Cuyahoga,
State of Ohio,
State of Ohio,
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
according to my best of my ability and understanding.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I'm glad you- Good luck. Okay. Item number 9, consideration of a motion of council for first reading and referral to a committee. Madam Clerk.
Motion number 2011-0007, a motion adopting permanent rules of Cuyahoga County Council.
Mr. Miller, is that your,
Madam President and members of council, this motion would create a permanent set of rules for Cuyahoga County. It's a modest update of the interim rules that we passed on January 3rd, and I would request the President of Council to refer it to the appropriate committee for our further consideration.
okay, now do we need a motion on this first, or we just refer it to committee? Okay.
Just refer.
All right, so is the ruling of the chair that this matter will be referred to back to the Rules Committee? Is that correct? Okay. Anything else we have to do on that? Okay, thank you. Item 10, consideration of an ordinance of council, first reading and referral to committee.
Ordinance number 2011-0008, an ordinance adopting permanent code of ethics.
Mr. Greenspan.
Madam President, thank you. This motion will send back to committee, to the Ethics Committee, the proposed ethics ordinance that we've been working on, and we hope to have it out of committee for adoption by its statutory deadline of March 22nd.
And once again, I congratulate Mr. Greenspan. He's been working quite diligently on this matter. Did you work during the Super Bowl?
I have to think about that. No, I did not.
Okay. He was working on before the other game.
That's right.
All right. Okay, so this matter is ruling the chair that this will be referred back to the the Ethics Committee. All right, thank you. And item number 11, a consideration of a resolution of council for first reading referral to committee. Madam Clerk, will you read that, please?
Resolution number 2011-0002, a resolution opposing House Bill number 3 of the 129th Ohio General Assembly that would amend the Ohio Revised Code to repeal the estate tax for the estates of individuals dying on or after January 1, 2011.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes. I would like to refer this to committee, introduce this as we're listening to it for first reading, and introduce it and refer it to committee.
All right, and this would be referred to intergovernmental affairs?
Yes, I do believe so.
All right, motion then, the matter is then, wait, we have to have a motion, we have to have a vote, right? No, okay. All right, motion is referred to the Intergovernmental Relations Committee, and that's Mr. Germana. All right, item 12, consideration of resolutions for first reading and adoption under the rules of suspension.
Madam President, I move that Rule 9D requiring ordinances and resolutions be read at 3 different regular council meetings, and Rule 13A requiring reference to a committee be dispensed with, and that the following resolutions be considered for final passage at tonight's meeting. Resolution 2011-0042, 0043, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, and 65.
Second the motion.
All right, it's been moved and second for suspension of the rule. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Correct, not 51, yes.
Well, it's a 65.
Okay, suspending the rules. Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Simon? Yes. Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Brady? Yes. Mr. Germana? Yes. Mr. Gallagher? Yes. Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries.
The rules are suspended. We can proceed with item 12A. Just for the audience's edification, we were here at 4 o'clock. Actually, some of us have been here since 1 o'clock. We were here at 4 o'clock on the work session, and there was some discussion of some of these matters and the details from the Department of Public Works and extension discussion regarding some of these matters. So we've discussed them before, and there will be some more discussion tonight. But if it seems like we're sort of passing through them quickly, we've considered them earlier in an open session here in this room. All right, Madam Clerk.
Resolution number 2011-0042, a resolution authorizing the county executive to enter into an agreement of cooperation with City of North Royalton for reconstruction of Royalton Road with additional turning lanes from West 130th Street to York Road, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Is there any discussion? I note that the bid date on this is not until 2013, and the county share of this is only $488,000, and there's a municipal share of $488,000, but the rest of this will be picked up by federal government and state funds. All right, any other discussion? All those in favor? Madam Clerk, we call the roll? Yeah.
Approving the resolution, Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon? Yes. Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Gallagher? Yes. Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, resolution is adopted. Item 12B.
Resolution number 2011-0043, a resolution authorizing the Department of Purchasing to issue addendum number 1 to the specifications on requisition number 18868 for the County Courthouse Americans with Disabilities Act Improvements Project to make technical changes and to change the bid due date from January 11, 2011 to February 14, 2011, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Second.
All right, moved by Mr. Rogers and seconded by Mr. Greenspan. Any discussion? Are you going to call the roll?
Approving the resolution, Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon? Yes. Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady? Yes. Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, item number 12C.
Resolution number 2011-0044, a resolution authorizing the county engineer on behalf of the county executive to make an application for allocation from county motor vehicle $5 license tax funds in the amount of $229,442.31 for improvement of Pleasant Valley Road, Bagley Road from Pearl Road to York Road in the cities of Middleburg Heights and Parma, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Madam Chair.
All right, so moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Germana.
This stretch of Pleasant Valley is right in front of the Tri-C. And as you know from, or you may or may not know, but from York all the way to 77, it's all been approved. So this is a much-needed project in Cuyahoga County.
All right, and these are from our $5 license plate fees the funds are coming from. All right, any other discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Approving the resolution, Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon? Yes. Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady? Yes. Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, resolution adopted. Item number D.
Resolution number 2011-0045, a resolution authorizing the county engineer on behalf of the county executive to make an application for allocation from county motor vehicle $5 license tax funds in the amount of $117,578 for reconstruction of Ridge Road from Interstate 480 to Memphis Road in the city of Brooklyn, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
I moved by Ms. Simon, seconded by Mr. Greenspan. Any discussion on this? All right, call the roll.
Approving the resolution, Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers? Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
All right, resolution is adopted. Item E, number 46.
Resolution number 2011-0046, a resolution accepting the construction of county improvement number 1406, Cook Road, Mackenzie Road, sanitary sewer in Olmsted Township, County Sewer District number 14, as complete and in accordance with plans and specifications, requesting authority for the county treasurer to release the escrow account in accordance with Ohio Revised Code, section 153.63, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Schron, seconded by Mr. Greenspan. I think this is the first one where this is a done deal. Everything's finished, complete. And the way I see it was $267,000 under the original, under the original estimate. So there's some more money for us in the county. All right, any other discussion? All right, call the roll.
Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon? Yes. Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously.
Okay, resolution is adopted, and we go to number 47F. This is another one, a completed transaction. Madam Clerk.
Resolution number 2011-0047, a resolution accepting the construction of county improvement number 131902, Echo Hills Sanitary Sewer Force Main and Pump Station in the city of Brecksville, County Sewer District number 13, as complete and in accordance with plans and specifications, requesting authority for the county treasurer to release the escrow account in accordance with Ohio Revised Code, section 153.63, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
All right, moved by Mr. Schron, seconded by Mr. Gallagher. Any discussion? This is another one that was under, the original allocation was $1,400,000, and it was brought in at $1,183,000. So it was under the budget amount. Any discussion?
My Brexville bees really appreciate that out there.
All right, any further discussion on this? All right, call the roll.
Approving the resolution, Ms. Conley? Yes. Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, moving on to item G, number 48.
Resolution number 2011-0048, a resolution accepting the construction of county sewer improvement number 3 TA1, Thorn Apple Pump Station relocation in the village of Mayfield, County Sewer District number 3, as complete and in accordance with plans and specifications, requesting authority for the county treasurer to release the escrow account in accordance with Ohio Revised Code, section 153.63, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Mr. Jones, and
Second.
seconded by Mr. Gallagher. Any discussion on that? All right, you'll call the roll?
Approving the resolution, Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Manna?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell? Mr. Jones?
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously.
All right, number 49, H.
Resolution number 2011-0049, a resolution declaring the necessity to construct, maintain, operate, and repair the Stumpf Road sewer improvement located in the city of Parma Heights, County Sewer District Number 1, authorizing the Director of the Department of Public Works and the County Engineer Sanitary Engineer to negotiate with the property owner for the acquisition of a permanent sewer easement in connection with said improvement, in accordance with Ohio Revised Code Section 6117.39, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to
Motion.
adopt.
Is that Mr. Jones?
I'll second it.
Second, Mr. Germain. Any discussions on that? I just want to know about the process of this. Do you just enter into? I looked at the statute and it was somewhat confusing. The 6117.39. So then this just gives you the authority to enter negotiation with the landowner. And does your staff people do this, or the lawyers do it, or? So the original statute says the county engineer, so you'll be taking over to doing that, Ms. Tuan?
Yes, Bonnie Teowen, Public Works Director. That will be done by staff, and I'll oversee the process. But there's people that are experts that do this on a routine basis.
And then will it come back to us for the amount of money that you will negotiate?
Yes.
Use.
Yes.
So this just sets up the negotiation, and it'll come back to us.
Correct.
Okay. Will these then at some point be going to like the Public Works Committee? Start when we get into the process?
I believe so.
Madam President, it would probably center around the dollar amount. Can you give us an idea what type of dollars we are potentially talking about?
Yeah, I don't know the specific dollar amount on this, but you're absolutely right. It does depend on the dollar amount and where it goes exactly. Those are some of the rules that we're working with the Rules Committee as far as what goes through the Board of Controls and comes to Council.
So there may be a threshold amount that you can just approve without coming to us, and then above that, then would come to the committee and then come to the council.
That's correct.
Madam President?
Yes.
In the legislation that we're working on drafting, items that are $50,000 or less would be done by the executive, and items that are more than 50,000 but not more than 500,000 would be referred to the Board of Control, and items that are over 500,000 would come to the county council, and that will result in us having quite a bit fewer of them than we have now, and hopefully we'll be able to refer them to committee, and they'll be able to get a little more scrutiny than we're able to do so far.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on this? All right, you want to call the roll?
Approving the resolution, Ms. Conley? Yes. Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon? Yes. Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, moving on to number I-0050.
Resolution number 2011-0050, a resolution making an award on requisition number 18532 and authorizing the county executive to enter into a contract with C&K Industrial Services Incorporated in the amount of $704,200 for inspecting, cleaning, and repairing sanitary sewers located in various county sewer districts for the period January 1, 2011 through December 31, 2012, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Ms. Simon. Is there any discussion? These are all paid by sanitary engineer fees, so these are not coming out of the general fund. All right, call the roll, please.
Approving the resolution, Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon? Yes. Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller? Yes. Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher? Yes. Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell? Yes. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, item J0051, Madam Clerk.
Resolution number 2011-0051, a resolution authorizing the county executive to prepare an amendment, change order number 2, to contract number CE 10410 with the R.J. Platten Contracting Company for construction of the Quincy parking lot in connection with the Cuyahoga County Juvenile Justice Center project, to approve pending construction change directives, to increase the unforeseen conditions cash allowance amount from $223,617.78 to $391,335.90, and for additional funds in the amount of $167,718.12, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
In the work session, we had a lively and colorful discussion regarding this particular item. And at this time, the chair would refer it to the Public Safety Committee. Do you think that needs to be a motion? Or? Okay. All right, moving on to item K.
Resolution number 2011-0052, a resolution approving an amendment to a collective bargaining agreement with Cleveland Building and Construction Trades Council, covering 88 employees in 16 classifications in the Department of Public Works, Department of Central Services, for the period July 1, 2009 through June 30, 2012, by changing Article 31 wages effective July 1, 2010, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Schron, seconded by Mr. Greenspan. Is there any discussion on this? This is one item we didn't really discuss in the work session. All right, call the roll. Mr. Morales, did you have any?
Madam President, I negotiated this agreement and the next amendment that's on the agenda, and both conclude wage reopener negotiations for the second contract year of our collective bargaining agreements with the Cleveland Building and Construction Trades Council and with the Carpenters Union. Both groups accepted a 0% wage increase for the second year.
All right, thank you. All right, call the roll on item. If there's no other discussion, we can call the roll on number 52.
Approving the resolution, Ms. Conley? Yes. Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon? Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, number 53.
Resolution number 2011-0053, a resolution approving an amendment to a collective bargaining agreement with Ohio and Vicinity Regional Council of Carpenters, United Brotherhood of Carpenters and Joiners of America, covering 9 employees in 2 classifications in the Department of Public Works, Department of Central Services for the period July 1, 2009 through June 30, 2012, to change Article 31 wages effective July 1, 2010, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
All right, moved by Mr. Schron, seconded by Mr. Gallagher. Any discussion? All right, call the roll.
Approving the resolution, Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon? Yes. Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Brady? Yes. Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Carries unanimously.
All right, item 54 is our biweekly fiscal appropriations adjustment, I guess we should call it. You want to read the record, Madam Clerk?
Resolution number 2011-0054, a resolution amending the 2011 annual appropriation measure by providing additional fiscal appropriations from the general fund and other funding sources for appropriation transfers between budget accounts and for cash transfers between budgetary funds in order to meet the budgetary needs of various county departments, offices, and agencies, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to
Move
adopt.
to adopt.
All right, moved by Ms. Simon, seconded by Mr. Miller. Is there any discussion on this? All right, call the roll.
Approving the fiscal items, Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana? Mr. Gallagher? Mr. Schron? Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, number 55.
Resolution number 2011-0055, a resolution accepting the installation of emergency generators at the Brooklyn and Rocky River Adult Activities Centers as complete and in accordance with plans and specifications, requesting authority for the county treasurer to release the escrow account in accordance with Ohio Revised Code, Section 153.63, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Germana and seconded by Mr. Rogers. This is when the original contract was $190,000, the original estimate. Then we had a contract for $183,000, and it finally cost us $197,000. So I don't know if there's any. I guess there was unforeseen items on this matter. Any other discussion on this? All right, call the roll.
Approving the resolution, Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers? Ms. Simon? Yes. Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller? Yes. Mr. Brady? Yes. Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron? Yes. Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Number 56.
Resolution number 2011-0056, a resolution authorizing the county executive to enter into an amendment to contract number CE 0400-154 with DCK North America for construction management and construction support services to assign the interest to Hill International Incorporated, effective July 6, 2010. No additional funds required, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt. Second.
Moved by Mr. Jones and seconded by Mr. Gallagher. Apparently, this is just for the purpose of changing the names of the company. The company changed names so that we have to pass a resolution authorizing it. Any discussion on this? All right, call the roll.
Approving the resolution, Ms. Conley? Yes. Mr. Rogers? Yes. Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher? Yes. Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, 57 is a very similar item. Read it into the record, please.
Resolution number 2011-0057, a resolution authorizing the county executive to enter into an amendment to contract number CE 0700-741 with DCK North America for construction inspection services for various county projects for the period July 1, 2007 through September 30, 2010, to assign the interest to Hill International Incorporated, effective July 6, 2010. No additional funds required, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Schron, seconded by Mr. Brady. Any discussion? And call the roll.
Approving the resolution, Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers? Yes. Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady? Yes. Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, number 58.
Resolution number 2011-0058, a resolution authorizing the county executive to enter into an amendment to contract number CE 08166 with Euthenix Incorporated for consultant services for improvement of Pleasant Valley Road, Bagley Road, from Pearl Road to York Road in the cities of Middleburg Heights and Parma, to change the scope of services effective November 3, 2010, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $229,442.31, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Motion to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Germana and seconded by Mr. Gallagher. Why is there an increase of $229,000 on this one, Ms. T1?
This is the part two of a project, the part one being the study phase, and this is the actual detailed design for the rehab of the road.
So you have somebody who sort of does a study, goes on and says, well, this is what we should do, and then somebody comes back with a specific design?
Yes.
And so we're paying these for the specific design?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
this is the same piece of road that we talked about that runs in front of Community College, Tri-C, out in Parma, and going into Middleburg Heights. Again, anything east of York Road has been approved. So this is just a continuation so that we have similar road conditions all the way through.
All right, call the roll, please. Thank you, Ms. Tewan.
Madam President, I just want to note that if maybe Ms. Tewan could get back to me, I have a feeling that that contract number is not correct. So if she could verify that, and if I may have permission just to change and adjust the record.
Right, you can interlineate when you get the correct number. All right, thank you.
Okay. Approving the resolution, Ms. Conley.
Yes.
Mr. Rogers.
Yes.
Ms. Simon. Mr. Greenspan.
Yes.
Mr. Miller. Yes. Mr. Brady.
Yes.
Mr. Germana.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Schron.
Yes.
Ms. Conwell. Yes. Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, number 60, 0060.
Resolution 2011-0059.
I'm sorry, did I skip one? Sorry.
Okay. A resolution authorizing the county executive to enter into an amendment to contract number CE 0900-324 with CH2M Hill Incorporated for reconstruction of Ridge Road from Interstate 480 to Memphis Road in the city of Brooklyn to change the scope of services effective February 8th, 2011, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $117,578, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Schron, seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion on this? This is an additional $117,000. Was this over and above the original plan, or? You see what I do nights now.
Madam President, this is similar to the project before where it was the part one was a study, and this is to do the detailed design.
So why is it listed as an additional funds? I mean, did we set aside some funds before? Why is it listed as an additional?
I'm not exactly sure how the county sets up their contracts. When I was at ODOT, we would basically do an if authorized. I don't know if that's as similar in this case, where we kind of encumber the whole part, and half of that, there's a certain portion of it is if authorized. Okay. But I can find out exactly the additional scope and the additional money and get back to you.
Well, we'll learn the process as we go.
We all will.
Okay. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Germain.
This stretch is right through the city of Brooklyn, and this runs right in front of Ridge Park Square, and of course going all the way to Memphis, where the city hall and the recreation center and so on. It's very heavy traveled road.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, call the roll.
Approving the resolution, Ms. Conley.
Yes.
Mr. Rogers. Yes. Ms. Simon.
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Germana.
Yes.
Gallagher. Yes. Mr. Schron.
Yes.
Ms. Conwell. Yes. Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, number 60. I'm back in order, I hope.
Resolution number 2011-0060, a resolution authorizing the Common Pleas Court Corrections Planning Board to enter into a contract with Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board of Cuyahoga County in the amount not to exceed $593,465 for residential substance abuse treatment services for the period January 1, 2011 through December 31, 2011, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
I moved by Ms. Conwell. Second by Mr. Brady. We asked about this in the work session. This is money that will be allocated to one of the correctional facilities for inpatient substance abuse. I don't know this. Is somebody here from that? You want to tell us about that?
Maria Nemec with the Corrections Planning Board. These funds are for offender residential treatment services for substance abusing offenders. There are two sources of funding for this contract, the majority of which, $513,465, being Health and Human Service dollars allocated to the court, the remainder, $80,000, being a Community Corrections Act grant from the state. This contract was reduced from last year, given that there was a reduction in Health and Human Service funds. Last year, it was reduced about $45,000. Last year, this contract served 225 offenders with substance abuse services, 37% of which were substance abusing mentally ill offenders.
So about how many people do you anticipate serving this year?
Close to 200.
Any other discussion, questions? All right, call the roll, please. Thank you.
Approving the resolution, Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Carries unanimously.
All right, number 61.
Resolution number 2011-0061, a resolution authorizing the county executive to enter into a contract with Starting Point in the amount not to exceed $1,832,782 for administration of the Special Needs Child Care Program for the Invest in Children program for the period January 1, 2011 through December 31, 2011, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Second.
All right, moved by Mr. Brady and seconded by Mr. Miller. I have a question. It just says for the administration. So is this only for administration and not going directly for care?
Rebecca Dorman from the Office of Early Childhood and Invest in Children. Starting Point serves as the lead agency on this program for Invest in Children. Out of these dollars, $353,000 goes for overall administration, and the remainder goes for direct services to child care providers who are in need of special training and technical assistance to be able to maintain children with special needs in their child care setting.
So your administrative costs don't exceed 10%?
It's right. It's the $353,000. That's system coordination. That's administration, is what you could call it. I could ask Billy Osborne Fears from Starting Point, who is from our lead agency, to come up and explain it further if you'd like.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear more?
Okay.
Okay.
You have her come up.
Yep. Here she comes.
Yeah, that's 20%. Yeah, that's a lot, because I thought it was 15.
Good afternoon, or evening. Some of the costs include administering the DECA, which is a child assessment program. It also includes software to manage the data coming out of the DECA program, as well as the information that we have to submit to Invest in Children for evaluation. Training for the 8 agencies that we will subcontract with to serve the child care providers on behalf of 1,100 kids. So all of it is not to pay for my salary. All of the salaries, which is only 3 full-time people and 4 full-time people and a part-time person, excuse me, who is dedicated to just serving the special needs program.
And how many children is this?
1,193.
Because I thought I saw a directive of one of the agencies that these administrative costs weren't supposed to exceed 10%. That's why I was inquiring.
Well, I don't charge any of our administrative cost of Starting Point to this program. All of the dollars, that 300 some odd dollars, is totally for only the special needs program, not for our accountants, not for any of that, which would be considered administration.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yep. Then, Madam President, do we then need to modify the language in the resolution that it's not for administration that it's actually for programming.
Yeah, that was why, that's why it's circled administration, because it sounds like it's for the administration and not the actual, maybe if Mr. Morales can.
The resolution reflects what was submitted by the department when they requested approval of these monies.
I'm just wondering if it's a matter of program administration, which is the way we're using the term, versus administrative costs of an agency, and that's the distinction that we were making. So when we say administration, we're referring to a special program, not an agency.
So you serve an umbrella organization that parcels the money out to the other agencies? Is that satisfy Mr. Greenspan? Or?
Could you repeat that? Repeat the explanation again?
The $353,000 is for administration of the special needs program in the county. It is not for administrative costs of starting points, as an agency. So it's all related to this particular program and the services that it provides. It's all in support of that.
Okay, I'm satisfied with that, and it kind of reads that way, actually, if you read it.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? All right, Madam Clerk, you call the roll.
Would it be at all helpful then maybe to just modify that for administration and direct care services of the special needs?
Administration of the direct care services?
Administration and direct care services? Or not?
No, let's leave it the way
Madam
it is.
Chairperson, yes, I would say we move it as it is,
Okay.
and
Okay.
let this discussion about semantics
All right.
another time.
All right, you can call the roll, please.
Approving the resolution, Ms. Conley? Yes. Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady? Yes. Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher? Yes. Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell? Yes. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
All right, number 62, 0062.
Resolution number 2011-0062, a resolution authorizing the county executive to enter into a contract with Adoption Network Cleveland in the amount not to exceed $315,000 for child-centered recruitment services for the Adopt Cuyahoga's Kids initiative for the period January 1, 2011 through December 31, 2011, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, Ms. Simon and Mr. Brady, any discussion on this? We talked to the administrators earlier in the work session regarding this, and we asked that in the coming years we be updated to the number of children that are actually adopted through this program. They didn't necessarily have the figures with them, but we want to just monitor this in terms that this money is spent for actual adoption of children. All right, yes.
Is there Ms. Forkus? I'm actually curious. I'm sure when it comes to adopting babies, it's not as difficult. The older children, for the dollars dedicated, what do you actually do to decrease those barriers to adopting the older children?
Well, you're right. These are the older children that we have much more difficulty finding adoptive parents. And we use a state-of-the-art technique called child-specific recruitment. And what that means is that we go back into the records of that particular child, which can be very long, and we try to find a person in that child's background who had a connection. And the documentation can go back for many, many years. We may be talking about a 15 or 16-year-old child who perhaps came into custody 10 years ago, perhaps not that long. But so what they do is they go back into the records, they read every piece of paper to try to identify anyone in the life of the child that child had a connection with. And sometimes what happens is those connections are lost over time. So the child-specific recruiter, which is a social worker, goes back and tries to find someone. That's the first step. Then what they do is they interview the child. They try to relocate any family members that perhaps have been lost over time. They see if there's anyone in that child's life now. For example, we have had a coach at a young man's school who coached him in basketball who was interested. They had a long relationship over a number of years. We've had many, many people that we've reached out to that either know the child now or knew the child in the past. And that's how we begin to do child-specific recruitment. It's really very, very cumbersome, very, very time-consuming and expensive. We had over 100 adoptions this past year, and I don't have the exact number. That's why I didn't want to quote whatever the number was. But it's very, very intensive work, and that's how you approach this kind of adoption.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, Madam Clerk, you call the roll.
Approving the resolution, Ms. Connolly?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Schramm?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. All right, number 63 involves a number of items. I understand that there is a motion on this by Ms. Simon. We're going to split this. Madam Clerk, do you want to proceed on this?
Yes.
Or do you want to read it first and then?
I'll just read the top
Okay,
part and
all
then
right.
I'll say as printed on the agenda.
Okay.
However, I might note that I did understand Mr. Werner's change in item number 16 for Presley Ridge, which should be $1,526,250. We'll correct that on the legislation. And also, there was a time period that needs to be rectified just on the legislation only, and I'll make sure that that happens. Reading into the record, resolution number 2011-0063, a resolution authorizing the county executive to enter into contracts with various providers for placement services for the period January 1, 2011 through September 30, 2011, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective for items number V1 through 22 as printed on the agenda with the changes as read into the record.
All right, there is a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Brady,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Gallagher. I might note that these are 9 months contracts at the request of Mr. Fitzgerald. These ordinarily had been contracts for these placement services for 1 year. It was a recommendation that they be offered for 9 months. Do you have any discussion on that, or?
Well, just that many of the questions that council has raised were raised internally, and I think the fact that we're starting a new form of government, it's incumbent upon us to take a fresh look at things, and we want to have the opportunity to go through as much due diligence as possible without there being any kind of undue interruption in service. A 9-month period was what we felt was the shortest period of time that we could do so that there wouldn't be an interruption, but at the same time it wouldn't be signing off on it for an entire year. And we want to look at a lot of things, including evaluation of programs. We want to make sure that there's an RFP process, which there hadn't been for these services in the past. We think that's a best practice that we're trying to implement across all different levels of contracts, even ones that were not required by law to do an RFP. We're generally defaulting to that, and it's going to give us an opportunity to do that 9 months from now instead of waiting for a year from now. So those are the basis of my concerns, and I've heard them echoed by council members.
Ms. Simon?
Thank you very much, Madam President. I asked Madam President if I can be recused from addressing 2 of the contract items 1 through 22, specifically item 5 for Applewood Centers, as well as number 20, Belfair Jewish Children's Bureau, for the reason that there appears to be a parent conflict of interest.
All right. Is there any other discussion on that? Mr. Greenspan?
Yeah, Madam President, it appears that we may have to amend the original motion.
Okay.
In order, we've had a original motion to excuse.
No, we didn't. Nobody made the motion yet, right? She just read it.
No, there was a first and second.
All right, okay.
We're going to have to, I would recommend that we amend the original motion to exclude the items that Councilmember Simon will have to recuse herself and have a secondary motion, which will allow her to vote on the items since it's an inclusive motion.
Okay, so,
An alternative would be just to recuse yourself from the motion itself, just on this particular one, unless you.
Madam President, thank you, colleague Schron. I think I would prefer to vote on the balance of these contracts. So I don't think it should be that difficult to make a hybrid. Okay.
I suggest that we just take 2 votes on this item. The first item will be, or the first vote will be addressing items number 5 and 20. And then the second vote will be addressing all remaining items.
so okay, Mr. Germana, Mr. Gallagher?
Madam Chair, I mean, it's perfectly clear when she cast her vote. If, in my opinion, if she says I vote yes, but I recuse myself from items 5 and 20, that would be on the record, and she'd be going ahead. So we don't need to separate this.
I would tend to disagree, Madam President.
Well, the recusal's on the record, so.
Well,
Law Director, get a ruling here.
Turn on my microphone. I think it would be cleaner to have two votes.
Okay, all right. All right, so do we need to amend the original motion?
we would, Madam President.
Okay. Who made a motion?
Brady, I believe.
Brady made the motion.
Mr. Brady made the motion. Mr. Gallagher made the second.
Okay, so is it okay to amend that we'll just be voting on excluding 5 and 6? And we'll vote on that and then take another vote.
5 and
5
20.
and 6, 5 and 20, sorry. Okay. All right. So moved.
Second.
All right. All right, call the roll then on the amended motion on item 0063 for all of the items 1 through 22, excluding 5 and 20.
I was going to do it backwards, but that's
All
okay.
right.
Vote number 1 will be all items excluding item number 5 and number 20.
Right.
Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon?
Yes. This is all but 5 and 20, correct? Yes. So I vote affirmatively.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries unanimously.
Okay.
And voting then on items number 5 and 20. Oh, do we need a motion?
We need another motion.
To adopt.
Mr. Miller? Mr. Brady? Moved and seconded. Call the roll then.
Confused. Okay, the second vote then for items number 5 and 20. Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon?
Recuse.
Yes. Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, number 64.
Resolution number 2011-0064, a resolution authorizing the county executive to enter into a contract number CE 1100126 with DeGoya Suburban Excavating in the amount not to exceed $2,308,050 for Dewey Road Pump Station, Force Main, and Tributary Sewer located in the city of Brecksville, County Sewer District number 13, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Schron, seconded by Mr. Miller. Any discussion on this? All right, call the roll.
Approving the resolution, Ms. Connolly?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell? Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, number 65.
Resolution number 2011-0065, a resolution authorizing the county executive to enter into a contract number CE 1100128 with Fabrizi Trucking and Paving Company Incorporated in the amount of $463,115 for replacement of sanitary sewers in North Granger Road, located in the city of Garfield Heights, County Sewer District number 9, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. Jones and seconded by Mr. Miller. Any discussion on this? All right, call the roll, please.
Approving the resolution, Ms. Connolly?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan? Yes. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Brady? Yes. Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell? Yes. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
That concludes our resolutions. We move on to miscellaneous committee reports. Are there any miscellaneous committee reports? We had some discussions of committee reports during the work session. No, there being none, do we have any miscellaneous business? All right.
President, I'm wondering, as I look through our the resolutions that we went through today and the backup materials, I'm wondering if it's possible that we can get the addresses of the agencies that we're contracting with, whether they're agencies or if they're contractors. If we could somehow in the backup materials include their physical address.
I'll work with Mr. Ivory and Mr. Merriman to make sure that that happens.
We'll get it for you.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Rogers. All right, I believe we have come down to area for our public comment unrelated to the agenda. Has anyone signed in for public comment?
Madam President, a Mr. Kevin Cronin, who is an attorney, has signed in to speak.
All right, Mr. Cronin.
Appreciate the opportunity to come before the council. It was my understanding that you were going to be taking up the issue involving the appointment of Ms. Tuyawin to be the Public Works Director, and I can see that she's been very active, and that's a terrific thing for the county. I'm a volunteer with an organization called Cleveland Bikes, which is a cycling advocacy organization. We support all forms of cycling as healthy sport, recreation, and transportation, and support all access to the roads and bridges and the parks and trails. That's consistent with the laws of all 50 states, and we think that it's also supports the development and growth of Northeast Ohio. Investing in cycling is a cost-effective plan. Building paths and bike lanes and things like that are you get more miles per project based on public dollars. They're more cost-effective to spend to build those sort of things. But then also recently we learned that they're also job creators at higher rates than other forms of public investment. They create more jobs per dollar that's spent than creating roads for trucking and motor vehicles and the like. So we support those as very important policies. Cycling is growing in Northeast Ohio. Only two years ago, Cleveland was named as one of the top 50 destinations for cycling. That's for the first time. That's an important breakthrough because that creates a public profile for all of Northeast Ohio that it's receptive to cycling and to encourage transportation, tourism, and visits and things along those lines, and let people support and participate and enjoy the parks and the tremendous assets that we have here. That's also helpful in terms of recruiting employees and retaining students who come here for school and then can stay on and work, because it's those sorts of amenities that are often very attractive for them. We specifically were very active and in working on projects that will be before you, including things like the expansions of the Towpath Trail and bringing that project to the lake, And the Innerbelt Bridge was our most recent activity where we support all forms of cycling, well, all cycling access, and we would appreciate the opportunity to continue to talk about complete streets, the building of roads and bridges, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Cycling access to all forms of transportation. Thank you very much.
Mr. I believe that we asked Ms. T1 about that, or there was a comment at we talked about the Innerbelt Bridge, and we'll talk to her about that again. Okay, thank you. Did anyone else sign in?
No.
Phillips is over there dying with this button to cut you off.
No, Madam President, no one signed in. If I may address Mr. Ken Rappaport.
All right, Mr. Rappaport, will you come forward?
Madam President, members of council, Mr. Executive, Mr. Law Director. My name is Ken Rappaport. I'm a Shaker Square area resident and sort of self-appointed community advocate. I want to talk just very briefly about a situation.
You have 2 minutes. We give you a little extra.
Okay, I'll be very brief. I want to talk about a situation that's happening with Ohio Savings Bank, which, as you may know, was taken over at the end of 2009 by New York Community Bank of Long Island, and has since, operated the Ohio Savings Banks locally. They have chosen to close their one branch at Shaker Square, which is the most densely populated area in all of Cleveland. It had $23 million in deposits there. Admittedly, the FDIC says they violated the Community Reinvestment Act in their failure to give proper notice when they did close that branch. But there's no teeth behind the Community Reinvestment Act to do anything about it. Interestingly enough, the chief FDIC investigator used to work for New York Community Bank. At any rate, the city of Cleveland, the city of Shaker Heights have both passed resolutions calling on New York Community Bank to remain involved in community investment. Over the last year, when they issued 70 mortgages, none of them were to African Americans. They have the worst record of mortgage lending to people of color of any bank in the county. And then they pull out of the Shaker Square area, which is a very diverse area. When New York Community Bank took over Ohio Savings, they used somewhere between $2 and $9 billion of federal money for the acquisition, and they, in kind, are not returning it to our community. So I just want to apprise council of the fact that the city of Cleveland, the city of Shaker Heights, several other groups, the Ohio Fair Lending Coalition, Catholic Charities, Congresswoman Fudge's office, Congressman Kucinich's office are all working on this issue to deal with the issue, and at some point we are going to be asking County Council for its support in our efforts to make Ohio Savings and New York Community Bank be a good community citizen.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Rappaport. All right, is there any other business to come before the council? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, thank you. Motion carries. We've been here since 1 o'clock.
I always put without objection. Oh, I know. I already have